Hey, Roger Martin from Billings, Montana, X22 report, and he says a great reminder that we have to sever the economy from the central banks, that they're not the same. They're two different games, and the central banks have had the upper hand and controlled our economy and our markets, but they're losing that power. Listen to this.
How the economy was, how the market is not the economy. But we need to remember something very important. You just can't come in and save a central bank economy. The only thing you can do with a central bank economy when it's at its end stage is you can just kick it down the street a little bit more. That's it. And the only way to change everything is to create an economy that is not based off of the central bank's plan. Trump knew this.
To create an economy that was not based on the central bank's plan. I mean, this is some bold thinking.
When he came into office, he wasn't going to come out and say, listen, this is a central bank economy. It's going to implode. We're going to go through a recession. We're going to go through a depression. And it's going to be very hard for people. The whole entire nation would completely collapse. The mainstream media, the deep state, they would have a field day. So what did the Patriots decide to do? They decided to come up with a plan. And this plan has many different avenues, many different systems that they have to control first before they can make their next move. And they knew that this was going to be very tough. And they knew that the other side was going to fight.
Hey, it's Dean Graziosi.
Patriots decided, let's use what they've been using for a very long time and make the economy look great. They already knew that the central bank, the Fed, they were going to have to cut rates and move from tightening to stimulus to keep the system going. The system went on way too long as it is. And the only way the system can continue on is with these ingredients. That's it. So the plan was start to call out the Fed, tell the public, tell the mainstream media, listen, stop raising rates, stop raising rates. Once they stopped raising rates, they moved into the second part of the plan. Okay, now we need you to cut rates. Now we need you to stop tightening. Now we need stimulus. And here we are today. Because when we look at the central bank economy, it is declining. It's imploding on itself, which we knew would happen. It happened throughout history. It's following the same exact pattern. There is no difference. Yes, you can create jobs. Yes, you can manipulate the numbers. Yes, you can make the stock market go up. But when everything's starting to fall apart, all the other indicators, all this manipulation won't mean anything because the manipulation then will be exposed. And we're almost at that point. And this is why the Fed at this point has reversed its policy. We're going to be talking about that in just a minute. But when we look at the central bank, the job numbers completely missed. We added about 75,000 jobs. Now, they were expecting 175,000 jobs. This is 100,000 below what they thought was going to happen. Now, March, those numbers were revised down from 189 to 153,000, and the change for April was revised down from 263 down to 224. And we've seen this before. This happens many, many times with these manipulated numbers. But the important point of all of this is Trump needs the time, the Patriots need the time to prepare the next economy. This is why Trump is placing tariffs on China, making trade deals with many countries, forcing Mexico to do what he needs them to do. This is why he reworked NAFTA. Do I think that's complete? Do I think he's satisfied with the New Deal? For right now. But I think that's going to be completely overhauled once they have complete and utter control of the next economy. And what we're seeing right now is that the tariffs that were placed on China, they're really having no effect on the actual prices in the store. And I know everyone was complaining that, yes, because of these tariffs, the consumer is going to feel the weight of this and the prices are going to rise. And we haven't seen it as of yet. Why? Because we explained how tariffs work. You have many, many middlemen before it actually hits the consumer. The middlemen are absorbing the actual increase caused by the tariff. So if China is putting out an item that costs...
So we're going to see how all this plays out in time. Small businesses are being affected. Other things will be affected. The effect of this tariff war is not over yet.
Cost 22 cents, and there's a 10% tariff or a 25% tariff. On that 22-cent item, it's not that much. That's the first middleman. Then it goes through another middleman, another middleman, and it finally hits the United States, where then they sell that 22-cent item for like $10, $15, $20, $25, $30. This is why you're not going to see anything. Trump actually tweeted out the following. China is subsidizing its product in order that it can continue to be sold in the U.S. Many firms are leaving China for other countries, including the United States, in order to avoid paying the tariffs. No visible increase in costs or inflation, but U.S. is taking in billions. Now, like we said, the entire plan here is to get the Fed to do what Trump wants and still look independent. Now, last year, Trump...
All right. So is it going to go the way Trump and others envision it? We'll see.
Trump first raised the possibility that the Federal Reserve could cut interest rates. Everybody dismissed this as this crazy man talking about why would they lower rates when they're raising rates right now? It makes no sense. He has no idea how the business is run. It doesn't work this way. You just can't tell the Fed to stop raising rates, to keep rates steady, then lower.
Are you over age 50? Have you started?
Work this way. Because when the economy is doing well and the numbers look great, the Fed is going to do what they have to do, and that is tighten and raise rates. Well, all those financial pundits, the mainstream media, oh, by the way, they were wrong. Guess what? He's out there again, and he was in an interview on Fox with Laura Ingraham, and they were talking about the interest rates and how he wants the Fed to cut rates. Take a listen to what Trump says.
Especially because you did want to have a better relationship, if possible, with Russia at the beginning of your term. Is that out the window now? Is it not possible?
I think we could have a good relationship with Russia. I think it's hurt by the phony witch hunt. You know, I could have a good relationship with Russia. Again, we have what everyone wants. I built an economy that's incredible. We're up $14 trillion in value. Look at what's going on with the stock market. And this is despite a Federal Reserve that frankly should have had lower interest rates and everything else. Now, there's a safety net that's good and it's more conservative. But if we didn't have all these interest rates, you know, who thought he was going to raise interest rates all? But if we didn't have that, we'd be at 5.2, and the stock market would be up 10,000 points more. But now we have a very conservative approach, and we've created trillions of dollars in value. And by the way, China has lost trillions of dollars in value. If somebody else, let's say
Yes, what Trump is saying is that he wants the Fed to do exactly what it did for Obama. And if they went ahead and they cut rates and they went ahead and they did the stimulus, we would see the economy rev up again. Now, is this the real economy revving up? No. Don't get confused. He's not trying to save the central bank economy. He's trying to kick it down the road. That's all that can be done. That sums up everything. December 2018, Goldman Sachs said 4 more rate hikes. Trump said Fed should be cutting rates now. Everyone else said Trump is insane. This makes no sense. June 2019, everyone, Fed should be cutting rates now. Very interesting how everyone is now looking at the way Trump is thinking. Very interesting. And it's very easy to figure out because we know that this is a fake economy. It's manipulated. And when you understand that it's fake and manipulated, you realize how it works. The Fed raises rates in a manipulated economy, which they were using stimulus and lowering rates. It's going to implode the economy because they created the bubbles with stimulus and lowering the rates. If they lower rates now and provide stimulus, guess what happens? The economy looks great. The bubbles don't explode. They might get bigger, but they don't explode. So Wolf Richter was out there, and he puts out very good articles. You can go to wolfstreet.com. You can see all economic articles. And he's saying that the stock market and the corporate bond market are in la-la land, pricing in an economic boom. They're not seeing a rate cut economy. So why would the Fed right now? And the probability of 3 or even 4 rate cuts by December 11th are now suddenly gaining the most favor. In other words, the market is betting there's just a near zero chance the Fed's target for the federal funds rate will remain at the current range between 2.25% and 2.5%. Now, you have to remember, the stock market, the bond market, Wall Street, everyone else thought the Fed was going to continually raise rates. They never thought in their wildest dreams that the Fed was going to cut rates. Yes, I know it hasn't happened yet, but guess what? It's coming. They're already reversing their policy. And now when you look at this, you can see that the bet on 2 rate cuts has skyrocketed to 34%. And this is before December 11th. 3 rate cuts, you're looking at 34%. And what this means is that Trump, the Patriots, they are now controlling. They're using the magic wand to control the economy. Q has told us that they understood and they realized what the deep state, what the central bank, the bad people in the central bank were trying to do here. They were trying to raise the rates, as we saw, as Trump came into his presidency, and they were going to crash the economy right in the 2020 election. And the reason for this is because if they crash the economy during this period of time, they know that everyone would look at Trump and say, you just ruined the economy. We're not voting for you. This is why Q, the Patriots, Trump, this is why they had to take control over this. This is part of the plan. They can't get rid of the Federal Reserve right now. They can't get rid of anything that has to do with the economy at this point. They need to get rid of everything else first, and that's what they're working on. Then they're going to move to the central bank system. In the meantime, they're setting it up. Look how they're setting it up. Trump is saying, listen, if the Fed would just do this, the economy would be better off. So he's showing the American people that the Fed is responsible for the economy moving up or down. And he said, I made the economy great up to this point, but if the Fed just did this, it would be even better. So right now, people are looking at Trump saying, okay, he made the economy great. Why doesn't the Fed just listen to him? Because he's been right so far. The economy looks fantastic. If they lower rates and they start stimulus and the economy looks even better, Trump has now put all eyes on the Fed that they are the ones responsible if the economy does well or the economy falls apart. This is part of the narrative. This is part of the plan because he needs this setup for the next phase of all of this. And that's where we're headed. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe.
So here we're going to see the false narrative about Russia being so evil, blown apart every time, and being totally false, as Russia and Putin and Trump work things out in other areas.
Now, Maduro recently disclosed that they held secret talks for 2 or 3 months already. Then we sat down at the negotiation table in Norway. And he says, I would like to achieve peace agreement for Venezuela. So he said, we are ready to hold parliamentary elections. The country wants the composition of the National Assembly to be renewed. This entire situation has been primed. All Trump needs to do right now is say, you know something? Maybe we should have an open dialogue with Maduro. And if Maduro would like to, I'm open to it and he can give me a call. I mean, isn't this what happened with North Korea? Isn't this what is happening out in Iran? And it seems like this was set up perfectly to have this happen. Now, very interestingly, we know the deep state, they never wanted Putin and Trump to get together. Russia is their backstory. They're using it because they have nothing else. And once Trump starts to speak to Putin and they become friendly and they agree on certain issues, well, this is going to hurt their story because Putin, Russia, they're supposed to be the evil ones. So when Trump and Putin met and they recently talked, Putin said that his recent talks with the American leader inspired certain optimism. He said, Donald understands how much the United States and other countries spend on armaments. This money could be diverted to other purposes, and I fully agree with him. He said that global security depends largely on negotiations between U.S. and Russia, and Putin is encouraging other nuclear states to join the discussion. And Putin is saying that we are seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. Trump said the conversation was long and very good, and we are getting along with Russia. And guess what? That is a good thing. Russia does not want war. Trump does not want war. They want peace. And
did you hear that? Putin doesn't want war. Russia doesn't want war. They want peace. This is a very good thing.
this is something the deep state can't have, because once there is peace and there's a relationship between Trump and Putin, guess what? Their entire story falls apart. Because remember what they really wanted. They wanted Russia as the enemy. Russia has been interfering in the election. Russia has been doing this. Russia's been doing that. And once this happens, everything that they've been talking about in the past falls apart. Because we've already seen from the Mueller report, there's no collusion with Russia. There's no obstruction. Now we're seeing that the Mueller report is not even truthful. They omitted things. They didn't really investigate. And now facts are coming out to counter the Mueller report. The next step is to show the Mueller report is garbage. The next step after that is to show that what really happened. And this is what all the investigations are about. The deep state, they have nothing left that they can use to try to cover this up. Yes, they can try to control the narrative. Yes, they can silence people. Yes, they can do all of this. But the truth, the facts, once they're released, there's nothing they can do. Yes, they can try events. They've done it in the past. But again, the truth will be out there. People are going to wake up to the truth. The storm is what we are watching right now. This confusion, the panic, the truth coming out. You see this before you get the really nice weather and everything calms down. So right now, we're in the middle of the storm, and it's going to intensify as we get closer and closer to all this information coming out. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.
All right, there you are. Let's go for peace, not war. Trump wants it, Putin wants it, and it's important that we get it. Good day.